let us begin by just getting your basic assessment of where the two presidential campaigns start. Ben, I want to hear you quickly on the Republican side and the Democratic side, and then we'll turn to Anita.
Very fluid on the Republican side. Unusually talented field, all of them feeling their way through a very different sort of political year. Still anyone's race, I think. Yeah. On the Democratic side, God, I love watching it.
Okay, fair enough. Anita.
That's kind of the way we Democrats are feeling every time we see the Republicans on TV. So I think Ben and I can share that emotion right there. You know, on the Democratic side, we're about to enter the next period, which is a period of engagement. Debates, speeches, a lot more high-level engagement. And I think, you know, there are a couple of things that I'm looking for. One is the September 30th fundraising reports. I think we all expect Hillary Clinton to have done extremely well. Yeah. The real question is going to be, what does Bernie Sanders look like? Yeah. Because I suspect that his online fundraising is going to be very impressive, just based on everything we've seen so far about that campaign. And two will be, you know, that first debate. Obviously, there's a question out there about whether there are 5 or 6 people. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. But I think that the, you know, what are the strategies the candidates bring into those debates? It's going to be quite interesting. On the Republican side, I think that the assumption that somehow, you know, gravity was going to bring some people down, raise some people up, doesn't seem to be happening. And it is fascinating as poll after poll shows that the Republican primary voters are so not just angry at Washington, but actively rejecting anybody. It was supposed to be the year of the governor. We've had 2 governors drop out already, I guess. No, they're rejecting political experience, not just Washington.
Yeah. There's a voice from the grassroots that's not been heard in this way this early, and that's absolutely correct. Part of the question on looking at the Republican candidates and how they post up will be what Anita said about the September 30th reports. Guys, what's the level that is enough for a Republican candidate to be taken as credible, since the media is going to have a lot more to say to that? Yeah.
Enough to pay the bills.
Come on.
That's enough. I mean, I was surprised. You were working with Governor Walker before he got at. I was surprised those 2 guys got at, Walker and Perry, because you've got 50% of the votes sitting with people who most people in the establishment think Trump, Carson, Fiorina aren't going to be the nominee. It seems to me anybody who doesn't raise enough slims down, particularly if you're still in the debates, and fights it out. We talked about Bush in the first segment, Jeb Bush, and his current position in the polls, not doing particularly well. What would it take, do you think, for Jeb Bush to move up in the polls at this point?
Oh, I think a good fundraising quarter is certainly part of it. I think you got to look at the cash on hand, particularly.
You think that alone will move him up?
No. I mean, there's a long list of things here. Doing well in the next debates, making a breakthrough there. Too bad it's not, from his perspective, till the end of October. Would have benefited from having more debates more often. The emergence of field organizations in the key states, and a realization of the way this cycle's primary calendar is different from others.
At what point, the Bush campaign keeps saying it's early still, we have a lot of money in the bank, we're building a sound foundation for this candidacy. At what point is it's no longer early? At what point is Jeb Bush continuing on a gradual downward trajectory? It's become clear to people that the dogs are not eating the dog food?
So I don't believe that actually happens till the voters vote, because they are the ultimate consumers of this. So I think, again, you got to recognize what the calendar is. Look at the first 4 states. That's a ticket-punching exercise, and then being able to do well the night of March 1st is going to be the tipping point for this race.
Ben, let me ask you a question. You've got the first 4 states, and then you've got March 1st with that, you know, large number. What role do you think momentum plays? I think that's something that everyone's looking at now. You know, certainly in the Democratic Party, you hear people starting to muse, well, if Bernie Sanders wins Iowa, and right now, you know, in the Real Clear Politics average, he's trailing Clinton by 5 or 6 points in Iowa. If he wins New Hampshire, then what kind of momentum does he take in? And I'm curious about what the Republicans think in terms of that momentum piece.
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton is a presumptive frontrunner. Can't let that happen. I think the Republican side now, because the field does look pretty level, is a little bit different. I'm also my Mitt Romney experience chastens me on the momentum part, right? Because Mitt Romney won 3.5 of the first 5 states. That should have been momentum. The reality is that the calendar didn't let him cinch the nomination till the end of April, and not mathematically till May.
But it did winnow the field down quite a bit and create finalists.
It did, but did not. It was a different field. This is a much more talented field in 2016, and so there can be more in it.
Is there anything out there except his own personal situation that you see in the data, the endorsements, the media coverage that would, if you were Joe Biden, would deter you from running, or everything would say go except for the personal choice?
I think there are significant obstacles to anybody who would get in this lane. And we've just been talking about some of them. Money, organization, endorsements, the infrastructure of a presidential campaign, and obviously Hillary Clinton's campaign run by some of the best people in the Democratic Party and really talented people. Not that, obviously there are a lot of talented people in the other campaigns, but let's just stipulate she's got a great campaign. And that would be a huge obstacle. But for him, it's personal.